is going beyond a joke how shit Manchester United actually are. It is so fucking embarrassing to watch that pile of shit play like that. It is fucking embarrassing to lose to your arch rivals like that and the way we performed. Embarrassing. Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you've all had a great weekend. Hope you've all had a good day. Hope you've all had a great Sunday evening as well. Good evening to all you legends, all you legendary people. First of all, do me a massive favour for me, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel and the community if you're new. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to put a notification bell on at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 for more Fortnite, Rocket League, EA Sports FC 24, more previews, more match reactions, and much more brand stuff planned for the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. So please subscribe to the channel and the community if you're new. Hope you all had a good weekend and hope you're all having a great Sunday evening. Welcome to the Premier League reaction on match day 10 of the 23-24 Premier League season between Manchester United and Manchester City. The first Manchester derby of this season in this Premier League campaign between Man United and Manchester City. And all I can say is what a fucking embarrassment for Man United. Yet again, a football club that is massively outclassed, massively outfought, and massively embarrassing to watch. It is going beyond a joke now how crap Man United are. It's embarrassing to watch. It's embarrassing to witness. And when you've got a Manchester City side who are on another fucking level with the quality players that they have in that team, of course they are going to rip you apart. And they absolutely ripped Manchester United a new asshole today. It is utterly embarrassing the way we're performing, the way we're playing, and the way Man United is simply just not stepping up to the mark and performing as a team. That team looked completely out of ideas. There was a clear lack of identity. There was a clear lack of a plan today to try and beat Manchester City. And City in the end deserved the result. They deserved the 3 points. They deserved the win. They absolutely outclassed Man United. What Pep Guardiola has turned that Man City team into is an absolutely unbeatable machine. He's absolutely turned the blue half. Okay, he's turned that blue half of Manchester into a fighting force, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And I'm not surprised we played like this. It is embarrassing. It's pathetic. It's awful to watch. The football has got even worse. Those players today are a complete joke. And Man City were just all over Man United in the first minute of the game. It was clear signs of telling today that that Man United team is nowhere near the level of that Man City team. And Pep Guardiola has got absolutely right with his comments and views and his opinions that Man United are absolutely nowhere near the level of Manchester City. And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely bang on. And I'm not surprised we lost in the way we did today. The manner of that team is embarrassing to watch at the moment. That team looks completely lost. That team is not playing as a team. That team looks completely ununited-like. We are not performing as a set of players. We are not performing as a squad. And I think for Ten Hag, pressure is now starting to feel the full throttle from the Man United fans and the Man United supporters that Manchester City team have taught Manchester United today an absolute football lesson. And I'm not surprised we lost. I could only see one winner today. I could only see one outcome, and that was Manchester City winning this game. I'm not surprised we've lost. I'm really, really not surprised we lost this game today. That Man United team from the starting point to the end of the game, that team just didn't look like a unit that wanted to try, put any effort in, or even try and somehow rescue an unlikely point or an unlikely win from today's game. And I think, in the first half, in the first 6 minutes, it was probably the best sign of football that Man United were putting on. The first 6 minutes, Manchester City were completely not settled, and Man United were dominating the first 6 minutes. And, we had chances one-on-one with Ederson through Rasmus Højlund and Scott McTominay. And I think if, McTominay would have slipped Højlund in 1-on-1, we would have probably 1-0 up and taken an unlikely lead in this Manchester derby. McTominay has a chance to make it 1-1 just before half-time, which was a magnificent save by Ederson to keep Man City's clean sheet intact. And the whole team today, there was a lack of firepower. There was a lack of energy. There was just a lack of everything. And today, Man United got the full throttle of that. There was no attacking threat. There was no defensive quality. And the midfield was an absolute midfield battle. That was being lost completely time and time again. And the way Manchester City just played simple passes over the top over Man United's midfielders, over their centre-backs. They make it look so easy. And that is because Pep Guardiola is an absolute magician at the way he manages Manchester City. And I'm not surprised they've won 3-0. Man United did not look like they were going to score today. They looked like there was no energy to find the back of the net. And the whole second half, it just went tips up. 4 minutes into the second half, Erling Haaland is completely and utterly unmarked at the back post and has got a free header on goal. It's past Onana into basically an empty net, which was made 2-0, and the whole second half plan has gone out the window. And again, that is very, very embarrassing to concede 4 minutes after the second half begins. That is a Man United team today that just showed that they weren't up for the fight, they weren't up for the task, and simply didn't want to turn up. And it's embarrassing. It really, really is, on the point of this is now getting silly. It's getting very, very embarrassing to watch. It's getting very embarrassing to witness this team being torn apart. But I'm not surprised. I said Man United in the last 3 games, we were being lucky and we were scraping the barrel. And today proved a massive, massive point. That team is scraping by again through a poor summer transfer window, a poor January transfer window this year as well, and a poor start to the Premier League season. I mean, 10 games in, 15 points. It simply isn't acceptable. You would have expected Man United to try and find a response today to the last 3 games. I expected Man United to find some kind of energy and performance from their last 3 games, and it simply isn't there. I don't think that team care. I don't think the players give a shit, and I don't think the squad want to try. I don't know why we're not playing out of our skins. It just looked like we have gone back into our old ways, back into our old shell. We're comfortable with the position we're in, and we're going to try and scrape by through a cup competition and call it a successful season. This season is not going to be successful. It is embarrassing. It is awful. And it's quite frankly, from a Man United fan point of view, how can Man United fans be pleased with that today? I don't think anyone's going to be pleased with the way Man United turned up for that task today. Did the emotions of, the tribute today for Sir Bobby Charlton get to the players? I thought that would have inspired them and get a win for Sir Bobby Charlton. God bless his soul. The greatest Man United player in history, in my opinion. No doubt or question about that. I honestly thought the players would have been fired up for this, and I don't know why the players just look like a lack of cohesion. There's a lack of chemistry. There just don't seem a team that is very united at the moment. I don't know if it's down to the tactics. I don't know if it's down to the manager's authority. But that team at the moment, you've got to start questioning, what the fuck's going on? Because at the moment, there are several key players out of form that are still starting in this team. There are still too many players in this squad that shouldn't be in this team. There's too many players at this club that still shouldn't be here. And you've got a manager who's got two hands tied behind his back and basically told you've got to get by with loan deals on the last day of the summer transfer window just to try and scrape by the rest of the season. That is not backing the manager. That is throwing him under the bus. And Ten Hag's team was massively not prepared for this Premier League campaign. We are massively unfit, massively unprepared. And that team looks a team that I didn't look like was going to be this season. I honestly expected the season we had last season, you would have thought Champions League football, top 4, winning the Carabao Cup would have inspired these players to go on another level and start stepping up to the plate when the going gets tough. And when the going gets tough, Man United give up, and they gave up at 2-0. There was no coming back from that. The game was gone. And for me, the only surprising factors from that game today, how it wasn't 6 or 7, because Manchester City were ripping that back 4 apart. And I did say this team has got too many questionable players that are being given too many chances and an opportunity to prove themselves as a Manchester United player. Half those players should not be playing for this football club, and unfortunately, they are letting the side down. They're not great leaders. They're not great players. And unfortunately, when you've got no cohesion in that squad, and when that squad is not tightly connected, and the squad at the moment is so split, it's probably a 50-50 balance that they've got. 50% of the squad is happy, and 50% of the squad is massively unhappy. And I don't know why Ten Hag is making the calls he's making. I back the manager. I've got to. He's probably our best manager since Sir Alex Ferguson. But at the moment, questions of the tactics, the questionable substitutions that were made again today, it's just the whole team in general. It's not a Man United team anymore that can get you excited or get you off your feet and get you very, very confident or optimistic that you're going to pull a rabbit out of the hat. it is just a very, very poor Manchester United team that are getting absolutely ripped apart again. You would have thought 3 games in a row, 3 wins in a row would have inspired these players to beat Manchester City today. And unfortunately, that inspiration was simply not there for the whole 94 minutes. And it's embarrassing. It's really, really poor football. It's poor tactical decisions. It's poor momentum. There is no attacking threat on our team. There is no midfield balance. The back four is absolutely shambolic. And the only player that can probably, at the moment, stand his head held very high was probably Onana, because he kept out an absolute world-class save from Erling Haaland's header that was in the first half to keep the game at 1-0. You then find that, in the second half, you would have thought Man United would have been inspired that, Manchester City are only 1-0 up. Let's try and find an equaliser. Let's try and then find the second goal to get us in the lead of the game. But, as soon as you go into 4 minutes of the second half and Erling Haaland is left unmarked in our box at the back post, no one around him with a free header on goal, that's that back four not keeping the ball out of the net. That back four is not doing its job. That back four is embarrassing. I mean, Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire, Lindelof and Diallo. Absolutely shambolic players. I said time and time again that this Manchester United team is going to cause a lot of problems. And unfortunately, the downfall is beginning of Man United's worst season in Premier League history. We are only now 2 points above Chelsea, which is even more of an embarrassing note that Man United are now struggling to keep themselves in the top 10 of the Premier League. That is embarrassing. That is massively, massively embarrassing from a Man United team that is struggling to keep itself in the top 10. And people are still trying to say, we will make top 4. We will get Champions League football. We will win a trophy. That, for me, is bullshit. We are not winning anything this season with the football we are fucking playing. And I don't know why these players are performing the way they are. I don't know, and I don't have the answers or the questions to say what is going on. But clearly the players have gone back into their shell, what they did under Rangnick and what they did under Solskjaer. They're happy one season and the next they are fucking back to their old ways. They're in complete denial. They don't want to try. They don't want to put effort in. And it's embarrassing. And when you come up against a Man City team where you know things are going to be unlikely and you deep down know this is going to be an unlikely result to get, you would have thought the players would have at least tried and try and scrape something out of today's game. It's embarrassing. I expected Manchester United to do a hell of a lot better. But when they can't be trusted, how are you expecting Manchester United to get over the line and produce a miracle? They're not going to produce anything with the shambolic shits we've got in this team. It's embarrassing. It's woeful. That Man United team should hang its head in shame today because you've let Sir Bobby Charlton down, you've let the fans down, you've let the supporters down, and you've let down the whole of Manchester that is on your side trying to get this win against Man City. But I knew it was going to be a tough game, and I thought Man United might scrape something. But realistically, I deep down knew we are not winning this game. I knew deep down Man City are going to get this win. But I got them to win nearly 3 or 4-0. I mean, it's embarrassing the goals we conceded. It's because we make Man City make it look so easy. We were not helping ourselves. We let Man City control the game. We were letting them run their midfield, and their attack was frightening. Harry Maguire, it was frightening. Lindelof, Diallo was shambolic again. And as for Johnny Evans, why the fuck did we sign an ex-United reject, 35 years of age, who is getting ripped apart by Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden and Jack Grealish? I mean, that is the pure ambition from this football club, is to basically down tools, do things on the cheap and don't back the manager. And when you know you've got Johnny Evans and Maguire and Lindelof and Diallo all starting in that back four today, you have to question, God, how many is it going to be? Because that was what I looked from the team sheet before this game started. I looked at the lineup, I looked at this team sheet and I thought, oh, fuck, we're in trouble today. And trouble it was. You might as well get Ollie Murs' Troublemaker song on fucking repeat, because Man United are causing their own downfall. And the problem is when you've got an unbalanced, unfit squad, I don't know what Ten Hag's meant to do. I've got to question his tactics, that apparently the reason why Varane and Reguilon did not start today is because of tactical decisions. I mean, based on what? Based on what tactical decisions Was it right to drop Reguilon, who's your main first team left back at the moment, and Varane, who's probably your best centre back, due to the pure fact that Martinez is injured? They have both been dropped today due to tactical decisions. I mean, you really thought Johnny Evans, Maguire, Lindelof and Diallo were going to do a job. And that has to be questioned. That has to be called out. He honestly thought those 4 useless wastes of crap were going to do a job today and keep Man United in the game. It is embarrassing. I said that back 4 is massively imbalanced. Lindelof should not be playing at left back. He's not a fucking left back. And we're still doing it. I don't know why we're doing it. Maybe Ten Hag has lost the squad. Maybe he's lost the trust of the players. I'm not sure what the hell is going on at Man United, but it is now deeply starting to concern me that Man United are going to go back to what they did under Rangnick and Solskjaer. Down tools, and a half this season is going to be a waste of time. And at the moment, playing the way we are, Man United realistically going to turn this season around, and it's going to be a great one? I'm not sure now. I honestly thought these last 3 wins in a row would have got these players fired up and inspired them to take the game to Man City and at least try and find something out of it. But the whole game today, United were just torn apart. And it's embarrassing the way that Rodri and Bernardo Silva, Foden, Grealish, Haaland, I mean, even Kovacic is coming on and doing bits. I mean, Rodri at CDM. For me, I did say a few weeks ago that, Casemiro was the best CDM in the league. I've got to hold my hands up now. Rodri is the best CDM in the Premier League by an absolute mile. And I have to hold my hands up. The way he controls that Man City midfield is something this team doesn't fucking have. And when you haven't got your best world-class CDM in Casemiro available to Manchester United, Man City are going to run that midfield properly and it's going to do a hard 110% job. And Rodri today is an absolutely world-class midfielder. Let's no doubt about question. He is absolutely a phenomenal footballer that is taking his game up to the next level. And I'm not surprised. I'm really, really not surprised that Man City midfield was running rings around Bruno Fernandes, Scott McTominay, Amrabat, Eriksson and Mount. It was a question of how many Man United could keep out. And as soon as Man City got the lead, I mean, we have to talk about this penalty, by the way. I do feel, in my opinion, Rodri has made an absolute meal of it. I do believe he has thrown himself to the ground. Rasmus Højlund's got the absolute right to defend him and mark him in the box. But what's annoyed me about Rasmus Højlund today, there's 2 problems with him. One, you see his arm, he's got it wrapped round Rodri's chest. He's got his arm cling to him like he's got a Pornhub subscription. It's like, I've got to put my hands on him because he fires me up. He gets me turned on. He's got his hand right on him and keeps hold of him and brings him down. But the way then Rodri has thrown himself to the ground, I do believe it is a debatable penalty. If that penalty is not given, this game goes 0-0 at half-time. Man United might find something in the second half to clinch this win and keep Man City out. But as soon as yours truly, Erling Haaland, who's probably the GOAT of football, in my opinion now, for me, should be winning the Ballon d'Or, hands down, because of the goal-scoring record he's broken and the way he won the treble for Man City in his first season at the club. Erling Haaland gracefully puts that penalty away, but he doesn't even hit the penalty very well. And I think Onana, tried to waste time and picks himself up a stupid yellow card when it's like, can we just get on with the game and get control of this match? Because we need to keep this penalty out. But as soon as Haaland, he doesn't hit the penalty very well, by the way. It's a very, very cautious and very, very lucky penalty that is rolled in to Onana's bottom left-hand corner. Man City go 1-0 up, but then he could have found another. Haaland is then left unmarked again in the first half to make it 2. But Onana produces a great save, double-fisted save with his hands to keep the game at 1-0. Because if that goes in, you're going into the second half 2-0 down already. If Man City would have found a third and a fourth, this game would have finished 4 or 5-0. And that's what it could have been. It could have been 4 or 5-0 Man City today, because the way They control the game in their sophistication and the way they run the whole game and the match and the performance they put in. It's absolutely second to none what Pep Guardiola is turning that team into. And it is embarrassing because those players just didn't look up for it today. And you would have thought that lineup today, especially from that midfield and that attack, you would have thought they would have got something. And what's annoyed me today is that, I looked at the last 3 games and I'm looking at it again today. The back four we all know is very, very weak. That has cost us badly. But it's also the incapacity of that midfield as well. Scott McTominay, Bruno Fernandes and Amrabat today. Again, the midfield is getting run about. I mean, that midfield 3 really should be strong enough to run this game. And unfortunately, again, when you've got a useless Scott McTominay and a Bruno Fernandes that is getting pure frustrated every time he loses the ball or loses possession or a decision doesn't go his way, he throws his toys out the pram. But then what annoyed me, Amrabat gets unfairly substituted in the second half and Mason Mount is brought on. So the CDM position we brought in the summer in Amrabat to help Casemiro has been brought off in the second half and we've put McTominay there. And that, I think, where the whole second half went wrong. Soon as Amrabat went off, it turned into a mess. It was like a nightmare before Christmas. It was an absolute mess. And I think, for me, that is what cost Man United today. I think the substitution of Amrabat was an absolute disgrace. I don't agree with Mason Mount coming on, by the way. If anyone should have been taken off for Mason Mount, it should have been Eriksen. I mean, I look at Eriksen's age, and I look at the ability from his last few games in the Man United shirt. Has Eriksen really got the long-term longevity to be a Man United midfielder when he's got Mason Mount behind him and Amrabat both desperately wanting to start a game for Manchester United? At the moment, Eriksen should not be in that team and nor should be Scott McTominay because they are both getting run rings around them. And that is the problem from today's game. That Man City midfield is on another level. I mean, they didn't even have Matthijs Nunes starting for them. They didn't even have Kevin De Bruyne available. I mean, the quality Man City have got compared to Man United is night and day. And the problem is today that when Scott McTominay, should have slipped Højlund in, and it was a massive, massive mistake, and he then lost the ball. If he slips Højlund in, we make it 1-0, and the game might look a little bit better from a Man United fan point of view. But then again, we know McTominay does not make those passes, and he hasn't got the level or the understanding up here to make that pass. If he makes that pass, we are fucking through. And I think the problem is today, also, we know he can't do it, and I don't know what Ten Hag sees in Scott McTominay. I know he scored against Sheffield United and I know he scored twice against Brentford, but let's be realistic here. Is that really good enough to go into a Manchester derby with? I'm sorry, no. I'm really, really sorry. That is not good enough for Man United to go into a Manchester derby. This is basically a make or break game. I think for me, this was make or break today for Man United, and unfortunately, we've been broken up. We've been absolutely torn apart through the midfield, through the attack and through the back four. It is embarrassing the way we just can't seem to mastermind our own downfall. It's embarrassing the way we are playing. I said we scraped past Brentford. I said we scraped past Sheffield United. And I said we scraped past FC Copenhagen. And there were fans in this fan base and supporters hyping these 3 wins in a row up. And I said we are scraping the barrel. And no one seems to get that. We scraped the barrel in our last 3 games through unlikely comebacks of our own. And really, we shouldn't have beat Brentford. We shouldn't have beat Sheffield United. And we really should not have beaten FC Copenhagen. And today proved it. Today absolutely proved that Man United have gotten away with blue murder, basically. We have gotten away with it. And today we have been shown up. Today, Man United have been proved that Manchester City are the pride of Manchester. The blue half is rolling over. The red half is dying away. And unfortunately, this is only going to get a lot worse. And I think for me today, I think Ten Hag has got to realise the substitution of Amrabat has cost the game. I think if Amrabat would have stayed on, that midfield would have been a lot more balanced and Eriksen should have been the man to come off. And then maybe slot Fernandes back into that midfield 3. I mean, I couldn't understand again today, which is another major frustration. Why are we still playing Bruno Fernandes out on the right wing when he's not a fucking winger? Why are we still doing it? If he's not a winger and he's a midfielder, why are you still deploying him on the right wing when he hasn't got the game or the understanding to do that role? I don't get it. I really am struggling. I'm really struggling to understand the Ten Hag's tactics. I'm really starting to question it now. Like, I don't know why we are creating our own downfall. I don't know why players are being played out of position. And maybe, you know, Ten Hag has seen it against Copenhagen, Sheffield United and Brentford that, you know, playing that midfield four will work. But today it just didn't. It showed today in several aspects of that game that, you know, again today, I feel really sorry for, you know, every fan and every supporter that turned up to Old Trafford and watched that. I really feel sorry for them because at the end of the day, you've paid probably a lot of money, food, travel, and ticket to go and watch that crap lose 3-0. And if I was a Man United fan, I would be asking for a fucking refund. I wouldn't renew your season ticket. I wouldn't go to games because that team are going to surprise you a lot by bad performances. And today was a very, very pathetic performance. And the players should be ashamed. It was pathetic. It was a lack of fight, a lack of care, a lack of attention to the ball. I mean, how many times we gave that ball away today was embarrassing. I mean, Eriksen, again, like I said, he can't run that midfield. McTominay isn't good enough. Amrabat substitution was a joke. And as for Bruno Fernandes, I mean, as a captain, as a leader of this club, you really would have thought that he would lead this team. And the frustration signs is he throws his toys out the pram and yet again picks up another stupid yellow card. And he has every right, you know, to question the referee's authority and moan. But the amount of moaning he's doing is unbelievable as a captain of this fucking football club. We are meant to be a fucking football club. And we were trying to honour Sir Bobby Charlton's memory today. He would be fucking turning over in his fucking grave because that is embarrassing from start to finish. That is an embarrassing Man United team. It is massively lacking ideas. There's a lack of quality players in that team. And there's a lack of leaders that are wanting to play as a unit. And when you've got no leaders and you've got no chiefs and you've got no captain, that team will not win you games anytime soon. And unfortunately, push will come to shove that United will eventually make a decision and sack Ten Hag. If Ten Hag is ever gone from this club, and God forbid it doesn't happen, we are then fucked because I do feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for the players he's stuck with. I feel sorry for him in aspects that he's not been backed in the summer transfer window, and people need to realise that very, very quickly. And I feel sorry for him that he's having to pick certain players due to probably price tags, valuations in the transfer market, and probably due to branding FC. And I think that is why it went wrong because we are having to go with what we've got. Is my stream not working? It's just embarrassing. Like, it's really, really embarrassing. Like, I don't know why that isn't working because I'm talking live right now. I'm embarrassed. I'm really fucked off. I really, really am. Really, really am frustrated from today that I've seen a Man United side and it's just nowhere near. And I don't know why we're performing the way we are. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm embarrassed the way we are playing as a team. And unfortunately, that team showed itself up to the lack of quality is very clear to the naked eye. That the lack of right wing threat, the lack of it's just the lack of any idea what that club's trying to do, and it's embarrassing from a point of view that in the end, Man United deserve what they got, and we deserve to lose. And unfortunately, I saw it coming. I really, really saw it coming today. And at the end of the day, I don't know where Man United can pick themselves up from. It's just a shit show. It is an absolute shit show. And it's not going to get any better. It's going to get a hell of a lot worse in the next few weeks, in the next few games. And I don't know how Man United pick themselves up from this because it is an embarrassing defeat. Losing 3-0 to noisy neighbours in Manchester City, the Blue Half of Manchester, that is rolling over Manchester this evening. It's embarrassing because we are being left in the weeds. We are being left in the dinosaur ages. We are being left behind. And if you look at top four, forget it. We are not getting top four this season the way we are performing as a team, because Villa deserve to be above us. So do Tottenham, so do Arsenal, so do Manchester City, and so do Liverpool. They deserve, all of them, to be above Manchester United. They deserve to all sit above us in top four. And I think for me, Man United season's over. This season is now, for me, officially over. There is no turning this around. There is no coming back from this. And I think certain key players in this team need to be sold. Rashford is given up. Fernandes has given up. Eriksen has given up. That back four all need to go as well. I think Rasmus Højlund, for me, has a lack of a Premier League striker there. I did have concerns over this signing. That there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And as for a 20-year-old striker, again today, this just showed why. The pressure that guy has got on his shoulders is unfair. If Man United would have signed a proven Premier League striker, if they would have got Harry Kane, this would have looked like a different, complete start to the Premier League campaign, and we would have probably been firing on all cylinders, and we would have been up for this game. And unfortunately today, when you've got no goal-scoring striker, when you've got a lack of service from the right wing and the left wing, United are not going to find anything from anywhere. And I think we are going to have to go back and sort this, because at the end of the day, Man United cannot carry on playing the way we are. We need to switch back to a traditional 4-3-3, put a traditional left winger, right winger, both back in the team. We need a world-class striker. I do believe Rasmus Højlund was nowhere near enough to be available for Manchester United at the start of this season. Man United should have got Harry Kane and Rasmus Højlund. It should have been both, not one or the other. And unfortunately, Højlund has cost us the first goal. His body position, he should not have his arms wrapped round Rodri. That is a massive learning curve for him and has cost us the 1-0 lead. But I think for me, if he would have had that one-on-one with Ederson and he would have controlled it a bit better, he would have put that ball in the net. I don't know why he's trying to go round him. He should really just try to chip it or place it or finesse it round him. He makes the game 1-1. This goes into halftime level on the score sheet. So I think the service is worrying that, he's not been given anything that is going to bring you excitement. And I think, I'm going to back him. I've got to. He's one of my favourite players. But today it showed. It showed a lot. And unfortunately, we are just a mess. And I'm not surprised by the mess we are in. And unfortunately, today, Rasmus Højlund's pressure on him has got to him. And I don't think he's going to find a Premier League goal. At this rate, the lack of Premier League goal scoring is a worry. And I did say this when we signed him. I think we needed a proven goal scorer. And people said to me, well, you're backing him and you said he's going to be world class. And yeah, I still believe there's a player in there. But with the more Premier League games that go on, the lack of confidence is going to drain. And I think today, I looked at that bench. I couldn't justify why Varane didn't start. I couldn't justify why Reguilon didn't start. For me, they're probably Man United's two standout best players so far this season. And neither of them are in the team. I couldn't justify why tactically Varane was dropped. And apparently rumours were true that Varane wasn't fit. I mean, another injury-prone player at this football club who, fitness-wise, can't be trusted. And unfortunately, it's just a mess. It is an absolute mess. And when Reguilon has been brought in on loan from Tottenham, you would have thought today he starts this game. He would have started this game. And Reguilon ain't anywhere near. Reguilon is nowhere near. And I think for me, if Reguilon was in this team today, that left back and the back four would have been a lot more secure, because Reguilon can actually go and bomb down the wing. He can put a cross or a ball into the box, and maybe it finds one of Rashford or Højlund to put on the end of the shot. But that today, that tactically is a joke. That from Ten Hag's point of view, that's poor. Like, I know I back the manager and I back Ten Hag every single way, but that has got to be questioned why you've got your main best centre-back and your main best left-back on the bench today, where they should be starting week in, week out for United. People tell me, well, you can't play your best players week in, week out. You're going to get injuries. You're going to get suspensions. Well, at the end of the day, what would you rather want? Would you want the Deadwood crap bullshit players playing for you? or do you rather be putting your best players out and putting them into the team? I think I know what option I personally would be going for. It's not fucking hard. It's very realistic. You play your best players. And today, United did not play their best players. When you've got the qualities of Garnacho, Anthony, Mount, Reguilon, and Varane all on this bench, how are you expecting Manchester United today to get anything out of this game? There was no coming back from 1-0 down. I'm sorry, Man United fans can sing the praises of Højlund and you can sing the praises of Onana, who probably today were probably United's 2 best players by a fucking mile. The rest of them have let the side down and have let the team down. And unfortunately, more results like this are going to happen. And I'm not surprised now if Man United end up making a decision about where the future lies of Erik Ten Hag. Ten Hag's the right manager. He's the right one. But he needs to be back properly. We need brand new ownership, 100% full sale. The Qataris need to come in and just give the Glazers what they fucking want. They need to give the Glazers what they want and just buy the club and get this club back to where it should be. Debt-free, back on the top of English football, brand new state-of-the-art stadium. Something has got to be done because otherwise United are going to be in a mess for the next 10, 15 years and we're going to fall even further behind. And I think Man City showed us up today. If you would have had players like Haaland, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, Kyle Walker, all in that team, Julian Alvarez, look where Man United could have been. Look where we could be if we had quality players in this United team. Look where we could be. Look where we could be. We are nowhere near. And it's only like I'm going to said, Man City have shown us up of how bad we are. And the fans are taking the piss. The supporters are taking the piss. The Man City fans are chanting, the Glazers are staying 10 more years. Old Trafford's falling down. Yeah, I completely agree. Old Trafford and Man United are falling even further behind. And unfortunately, Man United have got no answers for this. And I'm not surprised the situation we find ourselves here on this Sunday evening. I mean, the clocks have gone back, but Man United have gone back even further. And it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. I think the injuries haven't helped us. I think Martinez, we need back ASAP. We need Varane back. We need Malacia back. We need Ahmad back. We need Wan-Bissake all back from injury as well. But I think today, Rashford, again, another bloody dreadful game from Marcus Rashford's point of view. I mean, what is going on with Marcus Rashford? Can anyone just pinpoint what's happened to Marcus Rashford? I mean, he maybe can't keep his legs shut with every goal he seems to get through, and he maybe can't keep his car on the road properly, and he turns into Simpsons road rage. But what's going on? Realistically, what the hell is going on with Manchester United at the moment and Marcus Rashford? He looks like a completely shell of a player he was last season. I mean, we've played 10 games in the league, 3 Champions League games, and 1 Carabao Cup game, and has scored 1 goal in 14 fucking games. And he still starts in this Man United team. He still starts. It's embarrassing. It really is. Why can't big decisions about big players be made and be dropped to the bench where they fucking belong? I, from now, would be dropping bloody Eriksen. I'd be dropping McTominay. I'd be dropping Rashford. And I'd be dropping that whole fucking back four. I'd be telling Wan-Bissake and Ahmad and Shaw and Malacia and Martinez, get off your lazy fat ass off the medical bench in the hospital wing at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and get yourself back in this fucking team. Because the longer this carries on, the more results like this are going to influence. I'm sorry, it will. We were embarrassing today. There is no coming back from this. United will not turn this around. And the problem is they are going to PR this every fucking way they can to try and spin a positive. Well, we paid tributes to Bobby Charlton and I hope we're all going to remember him, but we don't care about the performances on the pitch. If that was me, I would be storming onto the pitch and questioning those players. I'd be like, what the fuck's going on? I'd be questioning it. I'd be like, what's going on? Because there seems to be no answer. These players are doing what they did to Rangnick. They're doing what they did to Solskjaer. They are trying to get Ten Hag the sack. And unfortunately, more performances like that are going to get him the sack, and we're going to be back to square number 1 again. I'm sorry, we will. And the more it happens, the worse shit we're going to be in. I mean, Garnacho should be starting. Sorry, he should. McTominay should not be starting over Mount and Eriksen. Varane should be starting over Maguire and Lindelof and Johnny Evans. Reguilon should be starting over Diallo. And people rate some of these players and like, open your eyes. They're crap. And I'm not giving any of those players any praise today. I'm sorry, I'm not. I can't give any one of those players any indication of the man of match award. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. None of those players deserve any remorse from today. I'm sorry, they were all wank. I'm sorry. Absolutely shocking. It is embarrassing. And unfortunately, the fans and supporters are the one that suffered today. And I think for me, in the end, United got what they deserved. I'm sorry, you deserve to be spanked hard on the bum cheeks. You got absolutely spanked hard. You were really, really spanked. And for me, United are in a complete mess again. It was looking positive from 3 wins from 3. A clean sheet against FC Copenhagen, 2 wins against Brentford and Sheffield United. You wouldn't have thought, oh, United are going to turn this around now. We're not turning this around. We are going 10 times backwards again. And Ten Hag will pay the price. I'm not blaming the manager for this today, but certain things that happened in that game, I'm not happy with. I mean, once Rasmus Højlund's number was up to be substituted, did you see the boos from the crowd? That says a lot because they all see something in him that others don't see in themselves. That says a lot from the fans and supporters that, do you know what? Rasmus Højlund is the only player that's trying. And I think for me, I would agree. I think Rasmus Højlund is the only player that is only going the extra mile as a Man United player because he's a buoyant Man United fan. He loves this football club. He wants to succeed. And I think today his energy, he's at fault for the first goal. I completely agree. But his energy after that, there was a spark. And I think for me, that spark needs to start being a bit more of a sparkle or a firework because he's got to start finding some goals from somewhere. And I felt sorry for him. I really do. And I think the rest of the team around him, the whole team are just looked massively uninterested. And for me, that is not a good sign. If the players are not looking interested, that shows they don't want Ten Hag here. Like Mount shouldn't have been brought. Onana really shouldn't have been brought. Reguilon, I think, do you know what? I think for me, in my opinion, I think the only players that can credit themselves as good signings is Reguilon, Amrabat and Højlund. I think for me, they're the only 3 that can justify their places at Man United because the rest of them around them are awful. It is embarrassing otherwise, you know, what we're witnessing. We are witnessing the downfall of Manchester United again. And unfortunately, this is going to get a lot worse. And I think for me, this game showed a lot today that Man United are, like Pep Guardiola said, they are nowhere near your level. And he's right. I mean, Erling Haaland is a monster. Phil Foden is a world-class footballer. I think, you know, I look at that rest of that Man City team and it's got quality in every position. And they've got 2 or 3 players in every position to cover. At Man United, we buy cheap, do loan deals, don't back the manager, and it all goes tits up. Thank you very much. And I think for me, the worst is yet to come. I think after today, questions have got to start being made now about the commitment and the desire from these United players because today there was a lack of that all 94 minutes. I've wasted 94 minutes of my own personal time for this club that I love with all my heart, who have thrown the towel in, given up and have waved the white flag at 1-0 down. How embarrassing from a Man United team that I've let the fans and the supporters down. And that is why the fans and supporters today get my man of the match, because they're the only ones that actually give a shit. Those players are a bunch of useless tossers. Absolutely fucking useless. Those lot couldn't bury a crap on a marble floor. It is embarrassing from a United fan point of view and a supporter point of view. Man United have been battered 3-0 in the Manchester derby thanks to Erling Haaland and Foden. What a joke. So I enjoyed the reaction. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and the community if you're new. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and always remember to put that notification bell on at all times as well to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20. We've got more Fortnite Chat 4 Season 4 Last Resort coming up, more Rocket League Season 12 Porsche, We've got more EA Sports FC24 content coming up tomorrow afternoon. We'll be back with our Man United career mode. I'm on Twitch, so go give me a follow on there. It's United Red Devils 20, all on one word, all in capitals, no gaps, no spaces. And then tomorrow, we've got the preview for the Carabao Cup home game against Newcastle United Wednesday night, where we are going to have to try and talk through this preview and try and find some kind of positive to turn this bloody sinking ship around. But to lose 3-0 to Manchester City in the Manchester derby, the first one in his Premier League campaign, it's a disgrace, a joke, embarrassment. Let that club fucking rot. I'm going to go enjoy my rest of the weekend. At least the F1's here to rescue me. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Be nice. Be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legendary. And I'll see you on the next one.